right off the top, why are some companies? Savona is doing doing used equipment now for over 30 years. Why are some companies going? Do they go towards used as opposed to new?
It's usually a combination of delivery times. New equipment could be 6 weeks to a year or more to deliver, and cost. They're trying to keep their costs down, so it's usually a combination of cost to delivery. Is there instances where something isn't manufactured anymore? That happens. Parts, they come to us for parts. For used equipment, maybe new suppliers don't supply that model, don't supply those parts. So it's usually a combination of those factors.
Yeah. Is a lot of the equipment staying here in Canada? I know that Savona is bringing a lot of the company or originates from here. Is it staying here and getting sold to mines within Canada and the U.S., or does it go pretty abroad a lot of times?
It depends. It usually depends on the type of product. We do export a lot of equipment. North America and Europe has traditionally had very good manufacturing for mining equipment. So we export a lot of equipment, but a lot of it goes to the local mines as well. It helps when the local mining industry is doing well. Then we're supplying more equipment to the local industry. If there's any kind of a downturn, which happens time to time, then we're typically exporting a lot as well. Mines shut down here, then we export equipment.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a combination, but we export it all over the world.
Yeah. Obviously there's going to be a different in technology, that's one, but what are some of the, when you're redoing a piece of equipment, like these LHD vehicles and equipment like that, what quality does it end up being at by the time it lands at their mine site? Difference between a new and a used piece of equipment?
That's a good question, because most clients have that question, and it depends on how it's supplied. Used equipment covers a wide variety. New is new. You know what you're getting. It has a warranty. Parts are available. Used is different. It could be a rusted out piece of junk in a field, or it could be completely rebuilt. So it really depends on what the client wants and what we're able to offer. Some equipment, it's not worth it to rebuild, but it's in good operating condition, so a company can use it. So it really depends, and it's really important for purchasers of used equipment to ask the questions to know exactly what they're getting. It's hard to know exactly with used, because sometimes if it's as is, which is a common term in the business, as is what? So is it as is operating? Is it as is refurbished? Is it as is? We have no idea. So as for Savona equipment, we try to communicate as honestly as possible and let them know what it is so they can make a decision with the proper information.
I'd make the assumption that as is going to be less expensive. But is there other reasons that they want it as is specifically, or is it just a cost thing?
It's cost, it's time, it's delivery time. So they want it tomorrow, which when they're buying used, often they do want it tomorrow.
Because that's one of the major factors.
Yeah. So then they might just take it as is and have their mechanic look it over, etc. So,
right. Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, then maybe they just try to save money and they'll rebuild it themselves.
Yeah. What kind of I know from obviously knowing a bit about the company as one of our clients and family connection and everything, but what are, I'm not there on the front lines with the sales, so what's the size of the companies that Savona equipment is generally or not even size, but type of operations, underground, open pit, or the ore processing part, which sort of function are they generally working in, and scale of mine?
That depends on what's available. Used equipment, it's offered to us typically. So we might take a mine down, dismantle a mine, or somebody might offer us a small pump, for example. So depending what we have available, brings in a different clientele. So
Right.
a good example right now is we have a plant available in South America, or Central America, sorry. It's a 6,500 ton per day gold and silver plant. That's not going to be a small cap miner, or you know, a placer miner isn't going to use a plant like that. So it's a different clientele than, say, a local placer miner that has a little 12-inch trommel and wants a little slurry pump or something. So it's different. It really depends on what we have available. So,
I guess that's kind of one of the challenges of the used equipment, because if you're talking to someone who new, it's kind of like they're pumping out. They might customize it, but it's kind of the same. But your demographic is actually changing continuously based on inventory that's coming in.
it is, yeah, it totally is. It depends where in the world it is. We broker a lot of equipment it could be located in Africa, Europe. We get into all kinds of things, construction, electrical. So it really, yeah, I mean, we've dealt with General Electric people. They're not a mining company. But, you know, they've reached out to us before to sell surplus equipment. So, yeah, it really varies. It's hard to pinpoint exactly who our client is.